Hi, Olivia. So, excuse me, final video crit. I'll be going through the work and just giving my final comments. So you have an abundance of comments throughout the weeks, and so hopefully you've extracted those and you'll be able to access those moving forward before you lose access to the course. So this would be your opening spread, but I'm wondering where you would have an opening page. Typically, it would have the logo on it or something, or maybe even just the Olympic ring. Something alluding to this is a bid sheet for the Winter Olympics. As opposed to opening, assuming that this presentation has no cover per se. It's also a kind of an odd size. You've got 11 by 5 as your page size. So I'm just wondering about the repurposing, the intent, and how easy it would be to repurpose this to print. I'm thinking that maybe a little bit of a more versatile page size might loan itself further in that direction. Page composition looks good. I think this is a nice setup here. Over here, this left alignment, rag right, or this right alignment, rag left, allowing and establishing this margin and kind of establishing a margin here. You've started to use this design rule. I don't see a reason for it, and you know by now I'm pretty pragmatic when it comes to design. So if it doesn't have a reason, I don't understand using it. So that is something that I question. Next page. Now you have this continued line, these rules heading east and west on your page, and again, are they showing purpose or intent? I think they're just dissecting the page. I mentioned that throughout the week, so specifically last week. This page looks like it's been stretched, specifically in relationship to the way that this looks. This looks like it's been horizontally stretched to fit. So if so, remember that's not good practice. Good high resolution image though. Good job there. Okay, so again, you've got, let's go back to, boy, I don't want to do that. My Acrobat's running so strangely. There's some things that really bog it down that I don't want to do. So let's do this. I'm going to come over here. Let's take a look at that margin. As I said, you establish that margin, but it's not consistent with the margin here. As you can see, that margin's a little bit wider. Okay. So that would be something that you would want to establish consistency in your typography immediately. Next page, you can see that the whole type jumps. So in other words, you go from this nice compact paragraph to this that's wider and higher. So that's immediate concern right there. That's inconsistency. Another thing I want you to notice is I'm going to just go through your pages, and I want you to note your headline. And just go watch the headline on each page. It's easy to see because you've used the same typeface, but watch. Okay. It's like follow the bouncing headline. You really want some consistency in that because it's jumping around from page to page. Here on the first 5 pages, we have 5 different locations for the headline. Okay, so again, this page here, as a spread, this image would be cropped right there as long as you're aware of that. I'm not real sure. Here's this partial box around the images here again. A different size type box, text box again. And I've noticed something here, and then this is your research. Now, inconsistent type treatment there, inconsistent grid usage here. So your page mechanics is starting to fall apart. We saw that first with the typography now. So my suggestion is to create a grid, place it over your presentation, and adhere to that grid. It'll be mathematically correct because each page will have the same underlying foundational grid. So each page will be mathematically correct. If the grid is symmetrical and correct, then the page will be mathematically correct, resulting in a much more visually pleasing composition. Okay, now here we are on page 18, and we don't have any logo development at all. We don't have any color considerations. We're just going straight into your presentation. So how did we go from, I mean, we really didn't make the jump that, okay, here's the summary, or I'm sorry, that should probably be called mission statement, by the way, not summary. So here's a geographic location, and here's the culture. Okay, so what does this have to do with my program? What am I going to do with this culture information that is going to result in this visual solution? You see what I'm saying? So missing link there. This is a lot like the same presentation. There's not that much progress here. So that's a little bit of, that's an area for concern too. For example, I had mentioned that image there and that the background was probably not suitable. These need to be named. Your colors, that's taking the entire page. That we wanted to put an image in there, crop out the unused background. Now these are, you've got the image, and this is a good setup, but let's get some, you want to describe something at least. And what does this have to do with this? Are they related? Does this have anything to do with the visual solution? And if so, how does that correspond to the other pictograms? Okay. This pictogram, most of them kind of look like the image, and that makes sense, but this one doesn't make any sense. This guy is squatting down on the ground, but this guy isn't. So is that sport? That sport is the immediate question. It doesn't resemble, the image doesn't resemble the pictogram. Also, you should consider placing the word along with your pictogram, so that the viewer knows what it is. Because without this image, we might not know what that is. So that's another area of concern. Don't forget, this is a international audience. This page, if this page is centered, then this is going to be really funky because your center line is going to be cutting that guy's head off, and it's just not going to be composed the way it should. This guy looks like he's got two bodies, and then there's a couple of areas here, like those little sharp fins right there. Those are going to fall apart. It's smaller. This guy kind of looks like he's playing the drums, doesn't he? So little things like that, inconsistencies that we've been mentioning through the weeks. Again, here's another typographic presentation. That's good rendering. Okay, and just, this is so important, but you don't have any citations here. None of your images. This would be borderline copyright infringement because none of these images are cited, and that's not ethical. So that would be definitely a suggestion for improvement. So anyways, awesome job. I mean, it's really come together through the week. So I didn't want to take this long, but anyways, if you have any questions, there you have it. Thanks, Olivia.